Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of the Gro Show, live from Pretoria. I'd like to welcome all our online audiences as well as the in-studio live audiences in Pretoria. Thank you so much for joining us. We have a jam-packed show for you today with very exciting content and interesting and amazing guests that come from all over South Africa. So as you know, Umvuzo never disappoints in terms of what we put together for you. So on today's show, we will not only be talking about the benefit launch, which we know all of you are waiting with great anticipation for, but we've got an amazing lineup, which I would like you to stay put for. We also have an amazing viewer competition. That means you, online viewers, will stand a chance to win amazing gifts, which I'll show you a little bit later. So what that means, you need to stay put and not move, because it will be very exciting for you for what you're going to win. And in true Umvuzo style, to make sure you stay put and you don't change your dial, the competition winners will only be announced at the very last second of the show to make sure you go nowhere, and so will the questions of the show. So let's take a look at the amazing viewer competition that's coming up. I am sure you are now excited, and that's good enough reason for you to watch the show, if no other reason. But I promise you we'll give you enough content to keep you seated on and glued to your computer. So I'm happy to tell you that we have very exciting guests that we have, and the very first guest that I will be interviewing is the new Board of Trustee Chairperson, Mr. Frikkie Nqume, who comes all the way from the Northern Cape. But many of you might not know what happened. Why are we having a new chairperson? Because this was not an electoral year for Umvuzo Health. Many of you might not know that of the passing of our former chairperson, Mr. Frans Nkosi, towards the end of June in 2021. So, as already mentioned, my first guest is the Board of Trustee Chairperson, Mr. Frikkie Nqume. And without further ado, let me move over to you, sir. Mr. Nqume, you've been a member of Umvuzo Health since 2005. That's 16 years. Why would you do that?
Thank you very much, Sis Busi. I've been in Umvuzo since 2005 as a member. We took a decision as employees to have a scheme of our choice, a scheme that will be able to address our needs as workers. Because at that time, there were some schemes, in-house schemes and other schemes, but they were not relating to our problems because they were far away from us. Even if when you want to have a check with them, they will be in head office. And we said to Umvuzo, we want a scheme that will be next to the people, a scheme that will be having an office that members will interact with them on a daily basis. And that's what Umvuzo has done to us. That's why we are still with Umvuzo even today. Workers, they just go to their doorstep, they get an officer, and that officer helps them. And that's why we are still with Umvuzo. They are giving us a good service. Thank you.
Awesome. I think that really talks about the heart of Umvuzo Health being giving access to members, and that's exactly what you're referring to. Now, you've also been a trustee member for the last 8 years. Why did you decide you wanted to take up, or at least shown interest in taking up a leadership position within Umvuzo?
Okay, thank you. Umvuzo was a scheme that was designed purely for workers, and people who were supposed to participate there are a member of the scheme. And with this opportunity that where members were given opportunity to direct their scheme, then it's where I've managed to join the Umvuzo board. It was when in 2016. It was when 2013.
Yes, 2013,
Yeah.
it's been 8 years. You can't even remember.
Yes, in 2013. It's where I started now to join the scheme as a board member.
A board member.
Yes.
Now, awesome. You are formerly employed by Kumba Resources, am I correct? Also known as Anglo-American?
Yes, I'm a member of Anglo-American company.
Okay.
It's Shin Mine.
Yes, and if I recall correctly, Kumba Resources was one of the very first handful of employer groups to join Umvuzo when Umvuzo had nothing to show to its name. And you were among the union leadership that actually made it possible for Umvuzo to be added to the basket of schemes. How did you do it and why did you do it?
We did it because we had internal schemes who were not serving our members in the right way. We decided to look for something that is different. And we have looked hunting for Umvuzo. And Umvuzo is there. I still remember when workers were still complaining about services that they are getting from company, because company was having an internal clinic where we were supposed to get a particular medicine, but instead of getting that medicine, you were getting the opposite of that medicine. And a decision was taken to say, let's do away with these internal clinics and get a scheme that will be able to give you a service that you need.
Awesome. Well, we are forever indebted to you, because if it wasn't for people like you who stood up for a scheme when there was nothing for us to really show, we probably wouldn't be here today. So I really appreciate you for doing that. And so do you believe 17 years down the line, Umvuzo Health still remains the scheme of choice and still relevant to the workers' needs?
It will be the scheme of workers forever, because it's doing a correct job for the workers.
I like that. I like that so much. Thank you, Mr. Nqume. It's been an honor talking with you, and we appreciate you driving all the way from Katane to Pretoria. Please give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited to tell you we have over 144 viewers online. I'm not even counting, obviously, the live in-studio audience. So that's fantastic news, and I'm sure more are still joining. Now, coming up is my conversation with the new Principal Officer of Umvuzo Health, Mr. Hugo van Zyl. You may also ask yourself again, what happened to the other guy? Well, don't worry, we didn't do anything to him. After 17 years at Umvuzo Health, it was time for Mr. Busi Roberts to hang up his gloves in style and go on much-deserved rest at the beginning of September. So if you don't remember what he looks like, take a look. Welcome, Mr. Hugo van Zyl. It's an honor to have you with me today.
Thank you very much, Busi. You look fabulous.
I was waiting for somebody to say that. Finally, thank you. You never disappoint. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to feel like a stuck record because I'm going to be saying the number 17 quite a lot. But here you are, 17 years at Umvuzo Health and still counting. What has kept you here all these years? Because somebody of your caliber could have gone anywhere and been snatched up by anybody, actually.
Thank you very much, Busi. 17 years indeed, it's a long time. It doesn't feel that long. But at Umvuzo Health, it's a great organization to work with, work for. You can make a difference, and we've been making a difference in the lives of, well, currently 90,000 beneficiaries, and I think that's what makes Umvuzo so nice, so making a difference.
Awesome. And you were appointed as the first ever Principal Officer of Umvuzo Health since 1 September. I know that it hasn't been yet the 100 days in office, that we normally refer to. But how has it been so far?
They're actually very good. So we did have we are in the funny season now, so we're busy with budgets, contributions, benefits. But we have also 2 new people appointed professionals at the scheme, who's from the word go, came out of the blocks and did their job. So we're very fortunate that we have those kind of caliber people working for Umvuzo, and now it's business as usual.
Okay. Generally, change scares a lot of people to a point that some start resisting it. So how have you found it, being the new principal officer, in terms of how the other stakeholders have received you?
Well, fortunately, I've been working with them for the past 17 years, and I can only say that I've been warmly welcomed by all of them. So the relationship is good, and we're going to continue with that relationship going forward. So.
Fantastic. Now there's a saying that says, a new broom sweeps clean. Should we expect any radical changes within Umvuzo Health? Especially, we don't only have 1 new broom, but 2 new brooms with the new chairperson as well. Are there radical changes in the horizon?
Yes, Busi. I like Umvuzo Health. I like to compare it with driving on a wet road with a motorcycle. So you don't want to do sudden changes because you can find yourself easily next to the road. So we would rather do subtle changes that makes a huge difference collectively. So no radical changes unless it's necessary.
It's necessary. Okay. I'm sure that will put a lot of people at ease that, Umvuzo will still be recognizable, at least for the foreseeable future. That's fantastic. Now, since you've already served 17 years with Umvuzo, is it safe to say we can expect another 17 years from you?
Busi, my age doesn't allow for that, so I don't think I will stay 17 years as PO of the scheme, so no.
Okay, well, we'll take any year we get from you as a bonus, and we'll definitely appreciate it. Hugo, thank you so much for speaking with us, and we will definitely see you again later in the show. So now, we are going to change things up just a little bit. I think all of us, we can agree that we cannot talk or think about the years 2020 and 2021 without thinking about COVID-19 at the same time, because that's what's been at the center stage for the last 18 months. Now, I'm so excited that in a little while, I'll be talking to 2 phenomenal ladies who, in their own right, have made some great impact in the lives of ordinary people who were affected by COVID-19. But before they join me, we'll take a look at how COVID-19 impacted Umvuzo Health since March 2020. Have a look. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sisters Riëtte, Grové, and Mamiki, Katane on stage with me. I must clarify, they're not blood sisters. I just realized that maybe lots of people are thinking, they don't look alike at all. But yeah. We're talking about clinical nursing staff when we're talking about sisters in this instance. Mamiki, let me start with you. You are a registered nurse by profession, and you left your scrubs and Crocs and decided to move behind the desk. Why did you do that, and you no longer do bedside nursing?
Well, Busi, you know, almost 20 years ago, I realized that nursing had such a lot of opportunities for growth. And I was so interested in this corporate world of nursing as a profession. So I decided to actually venture into managed healthcare, and that is where I found my passion for disease risk management.
Okay, awesome. So, but from my understanding, what you've been doing, particularly in the last 18 months, has been bedside nursing, but just over the phone, isn't it?
Yes, in a
Because
way.
you've actually had to deal with real life members or patients, because that's how you refer them to, isn't it?
Yes.
So in a way, COVID, Riëtte has taken you back to your first love.
For sure. And that was definitely the nursing. And especially focusing on a holistic view of our patients was very, very valuable during this time. And especially when there's with the pandemic being upon us, what the nurse was there to support.
Okay. Now, obviously, we're talking about the vaccines now more than anything else. Now, you and I had a conversation a little while ago, and you mentioned to me, even though you could have had a vaccine quite early on in the year when healthcare workers could actually go for it, and when the Sisonke initiative came on, but you were quite hesitant to have your vaccine. I found that quite interesting because the assumption would be you being a clinical health worker, you know all the research and you know what I mean, everything, you're surrounded by medical personnel, that you would have been one of the first ones to go, but you weren't. Do you mind sharing what your concerns or fears were?
It's very dangerous to share information with Busi. That will come back to you. So, yes, I think when the whole pandemic came upon us and we started, I was definitely one of the forefront nurses working in this environment. So during this time also, like you said, the Sisonke trial was available, but I was working from home, being very isolated. So that sort of gave me huge comfort that I felt I was safe with. And as the pandemic evolved, and especially in the third wave, I've seen that there was a huge number of patients become more severely ill, even the younger generations as well. So at that time, having the fear for the vaccine and the complications that it might bring due to comorbids was quite huge for me. But then doing a little research and understanding how this whole vaccine was developed, and there was a lot of money made available. So even the media will talk about the complications of vaccines. At the end of the day, I've made my decision to go for the vaccine, because looking at complications of a vaccine versus the risk of contracting COVID cannot be our way. So, and what I must also say that during the last few months that I've seen patients who had the vaccine, actually their symptoms were so much less in comparison to what we used to deal with. So yes, I did go and I had my jab.
Well, that's good to hear. And I think you sharing what your fears are actually makes you human, because there's a lot of people, despite what they hear, they still have concerns, which many of them might be legitimate, but with informed and proper information, they can actually make an informed decision. But thank you for sharing that. So I hope you don't mind.
No, that's fine.
Now, Mamiki, from our last conversation when we did our COVID superheroes drive in the office, you shared some moving stories of a special lady, which I call your New Year special. Do you mind sharing just briefly what happened?
Okay, Busi, I was actually not looking forward to going into the details of the story again.
Don't worry, I do have tissues especially for that.
Okay, but when our members reach out to us through this line, a journey begins between us and the members, and we go through an experience together with the member, and the value that we add in the lives of our members is such that even as a nurse, having the experience that you have and having been through a lot of cases that, get you emotional, you sort of get attached to this story of the member, like this lady that I was talking about, that we went through this journey together. And when she told me that she managed to get through this thing because of the way that, I don't want to say but us as a department held her hand through the experience of not being able to breathe well, and me having to be with her on the phone to assist her and to actually educate her on how to breathe and what to do throughout the night. It was actually a very emotional journey that we went through together. And looking at this service as a whole, I asked myself, when a person goes through this and they have somebody that they can lean on, somebody to get support from and education from, it would be something that I valued. And this is what I saw through this story, that we are so valuable beyond what we think we are. So it was a very touching and moving story for me. So really, on that day, when she said to me she was looking at the sun rising on the first day of the new year, because I was there with her to go through that, it was a very moving thing for me.
And she said, you made it, both of you.
Yes.
As in, we made it.
Yes, she said, Sister Mamiki, we made it.
That is amazing.
So, yeah.
That is amazing. That's when you move beyond members being a number, being actual human beings, and you actually connecting. Yes. And thank you for being the heart of Umvuzo at those times, because most of us were sleeping peacefully or not, because it was New Year's Eve, depending where you were last year at that time. But there were people like you who had to sacrifice your own sleep just to be there for our members. We really, really appreciate it. And you, Sister Riëtte, you've also been at the forefront of this COVID battle. And I can also share my own personal story with how you've supported me and many others. But maybe people would say, yeah, well, I'm biased because she knows you personally, so it's so much easier for her to support you. So for that, I'm actually going to read an extract of an unbiased feedback from a member, Bianca Badenhorst, who wrote on Umvuzo Health's social media page when you were recently featured as the COVID superhero of the week. And I'm going to quote. It says, I would not be alive if it was not for your dedication and love you showed me. And I am honestly forever grateful. You are truly one amazing human through and through. May the Lord grant you unending days of great health, wealth, and love. Thank you so much for what you did for me. You nursed me back from the dead last year from COVID. And thanks to you, my kids still have me here.
Amen. That's wonderful.
I think both you and I might just end up crying. Well, that is just really, really amazing. And ladies, from all of us, we really just want to say thank you to the both of you and the rest of the team back at the office holding the fort, because we still have real cases that we need to support. And we've seen on the charts earlier that we still have members in hospitals. So as much as we're going back almost to normalcy, there are still people battling with the virus out there. So we want to thank you. And we want to thank the medical advisors as well. I always say, with Dr. Eric, I do wish that everyone had a doctor like him on speed dial. So you guys are indeed our superheroes, because they don't wear capes anymore. They look like the two of you. And for that, we have a small token of appreciation for you ladies, so that you can get some much needed, some downtime, a way to refuel and refill your cups, so that when the next wave comes, you are rejuvenated and ready for what might come. So thank you so much. I'm going to ask Siobhan to come and hand over some small goodies for you, and they will also be sent to those ones in the office. Thank you so much. Please give them a hand, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And what we will be doing, we will then be asking the audience to give them a round of applause, and we will be seeing the other team members back in the office in terms of what they are all doing, so we can see who are the other team members. Thank you very much. Now we are about to turn the heat up a little as we introduce something new and exciting. At last year's Drive-In Benefit launch, for those of you who were part of it, we alluded that something was coming in the form of Gro Club, Umvuzo's own loyalty program for our hugely loyal members, as we've already heard throughout this show. And if the chairperson's long membership itself is anything to go by. Today, we introduce to you the first leg of Gro Club that will soon be going to market, and that is the Gro Club Athletics Club. And it will be available in all provinces throughout the country for our members to become part of. Take a look. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Gro Club models. Don't they look fabulous? You guys definitely make Umvuzo look good. Awesome. Now I'm going to ask you, Zelda, just a couple of questions about what you're wearing. How comfortable do you feel right now? Because for some of us, comfort is everything.
Okay, so the clothing was designed for comfort. It's very light fits to suit everybody, so very comfortable, apart from being on the stage. Clothing, very comfortable.
Awesome. Now, are there different cuts for those of us who don't like really tight-fitting, figure-hugging stuff, That makes us
Most
feel more
definitely, as you can see, the outfit that Tato's wearing, it's a little bit more for the one that doesn't like the tight fitting. So we've got different options. Yes.
Okay. And lastly, if I'm not a runner and more of a stroller or a walker, would I be able to join the Gro Club Athletics Club, or must I be an avid runner already?
Of course, Gro Club was designed to fit everyone's need, so you can start off with the 5-kilometer walk.
Not 2.
No, 5 kilometer.
5 kilometers. Okay. I'll start with the 2 kilometers around the block to ease up to that. So, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, the Gro Club Athletics Club will be available in all provinces at different times in the next year. So, we'll tell you more about it and keep you in the different provinces updated in terms of how you can sign up. And if you are an Umvuzo member, obviously means it goes without saying that you can be part of that. And it doesn't matter how big or small you are, whether you've already been running for years or you're just starting up, whether you've got arthritis or whether you are in good shape, this is definitely for you. So you will be completely fine. So then before I let you off the stage, we're going to take one final look at the competition prizes as we are one guest away from asking the questions about the competition and also announcing who those people who have won those prizes are. So straight after this, I will be interviewing Suzelle de Kock, who obviously many of you will know her already, who will be joined back on the stage by the principal officer as we take a look at the benefit review for 2022. Give it up for the Gro models, ladies and gentlemen. Stand. All right, welcome to the Gro Show, Suzelle. The last time I saw you was when you were my co-star in the critically acclaimed movie, Healthy Life.
Yes, that was fun.
I haven't seen you in a long time. That was fun, wasn't it?
Absolutely, and it's amazing to be back.
Awesome, awesome. Truth be told, you hardly need any introduction at all, do you? But for fear of under-reporting, I'll leave this to you to answer. So how long actually have you been with Umvuzo Health now? And from what I understand, it's actually prehistoric, meaning before Umvuzo actually came into existence, you were already with the conception team. Tell us about that.
That's correct. I'm going to give my age away now. I was 27 when I joined the company. Actually, I remember at that stage, after my interview, our group CEO said, I'm not going to last longer than a year. Because at that stage, I was already employed by 3 industry-related employers. So he had a point. However, it's been 19 years. Yeah. And I'm still here. And you are correct, Busi. Umvuzo turned 17 this year, which means I was part of and before the birth of Umvuzo. Yes.
Okay, that is amazing. Why?
I can't tell you why then. I can tell you why I'm still here though. And sure, there's actually really many reasons. I think maybe other than being emotionally connected to this child, for me really what is amazing is to see and have been seeing over the years how we managed to live the heartbeat and the philosophy of who Umvuzo is by giving access and making healthcare affordable to the market becomes purpose. It's really like this is my purpose being here. And my husband often looks at me and he says, wow, you're living your calling. So it's more than just being part of a company. I'm really honored to be part of an amazing team of people that's super passionate, dedicated, people that lead by faith and people that really lead by integrity. So that's stuff that speaks to me. Can I continue? Because I really do have some more reasons. It's amazing.
You definitely cannot continue. The 150 plus people online definitely want to hear about 2022 benefits review. That's the reason they signed up. So I don't think we should hold them up any longer. But if time allows, maybe later we can catch up. What do you think? Because I think you and I can keep the show going for 2 hours.
I'd love to continue, yes. Maybe just the last thing, Busi, and really, this is probably ultimately why I passionately believe in this product. There isn't a better product out there. And I think being able to sit here and show you what's happening for next year and doing that really with a satisfied heart makes my job really easy.
Okay, awesome.
I'm done.
Awesome. So I don't think we should waste any more time. So I'm going to hand over to you to briefly go through 2022 benefits. Obviously, we would like all the brokers online and other employer groups to know all this information will be made available to you after the show. So don't worry if maybe we do not go to as much detail as you would prefer, but we will make sure that's available to you. So over to you, Suzanne.
Thank you. Thank you, Busi. All right, so just as a reminder, Umvuzo has 6 benefit options. We've got the 3 capitation options, of which there's ultra affordable and ultra affordable value option. Just to remind you, the ultra affordable value option was introduced as an EDO option 3 years ago, meaning very similar benefits, lesser price, where we introduced for the first time in the history of Umvuzo a DSP network with any life hospital, any mediclinic in South Africa. So it's a very wide range of DSP hospitals. And then our standard option. We've got the 2 traditional options, as you would know, the Supreme and the Extreme option. And then lastly, the hybrid. And this is our own hybrid between a bit of capitation and traditional options, which is the activator. The activator gives you a bit more freedom in terms of choosing your own GP. That GP will become unlimited. If you access your GP, there's also DSP hospitals available on the activator option. And then, once again, I think speaking to the philosophy of Umvuzo, we still remain to be able to give our members unlimited access at private hospitals. On all our options until the introduction of ultra affordable activator 3 years ago, members and still can access any private hospital in South Africa. And then, as I've mentioned, on the activator and the ultra value option, literally unlimited, any mediclinic, any life hospital in South Africa. But more than that, sticking to our promise to not introduce and deny access to our members, in my opinion, by introducing co-payments. There's still no built-in co-payments. There's no deductibles, no levies on any of our benefit options. We believe that will cripple our philosophy of saying, I give you access at affordable rate. So I can comfortably say, still, as part of our benefits, none of that. So I am going to then quickly run through the options. I haven't included a lot of detail. Just as a reminder, the activator, which is the hybrid, as I've mentioned, ideal for the healthier, younger guy, little family, maybe no children yet. That one GP that you nominate is your own GP, unlimited benefits, a lot of additional benefits made available per basket, and then the wide range of DSP hospitals. In terms of the price, that has increased to, and I'm just going to stick to the principal member. You guys can read. I don't want to take a lot of time, as Busi's already asked me not to take so much time. There's been a 111 Rand increase per member, main member per month. With a 50% subsidy, a member will pay 55 Rand 50 extra every month. But with a 60% subsidy, and specifically why I've included that, because a very big percentage of our employers give that percentage subsidy to our members. With a 60% subsidy, that member will be paying 44.40. That's it's just more than 2 liters of fuel, hey, Hugo? That a member will pay additional per month. So the increase on the activator option in percentage is 7.42. But depending on your subsidy, you can see the rand value. Then on the ultra affordable, I've mentioned capitation, suitable for lower income earners, contracted network suppliers through universal healthcare, unlimited benefits, providing that you stay within the primary care access, and then a lot of additional benefits available to suit the need of the entire family, such as supplementary or auxiliary benefits, typically not found on capitation options. There's appliances, you can go for physio, dietitian, etc. So we make that available to our members. And then just in terms of the increases, for a salary bracket below 6,550, you can see there the percentage, but I think let's speak to the 70 rand if you do not get a subsidy that this member will pay extra. With a subsidy of 60%, it's a 28 rand extra per month for that main member, and then obviously depending on the family. I want to reiterate the fact that there's been a 0 rand increase on our child dependents. Very specifically, we're keeping the increase 0 on the child dependents, enabling us to compete nicely, because in terms of our child dependent rate, we are relatively on par, but I'm hoping this will give us nice edge on competition for next year. But there you can see earning above 6,550 on the value option. I'm going to the rand values again, 103 rand per month for a main member with a subsidy of 50%, 51 rand 50 and 41 rand 20. If you get a subsidy of 60%, okay, that's a 7.46% increase. And there we've got the ultra affordable, the normal one with any private hospital, below 6,550 income. It's 30 rand 40 with a subsidy of 60%, a 76 rand increase for no subsidy applied. And then for the, if you earn above, and it doesn't matter if you earn 6,550,000, I don't want to get roll over my tongue with that, you will still only pay that amount extra per month. Okay, and that was a 7.47% increase for next year. All right, and then I would like to quickly run through standard option. Standard option, more your middle income earner, also capitation, any private hospital in South Africa. You can see that in bold there. Also network doctors, and there's a lot of additional and fatter baskets for a bigger family, typically. I was on this option for 10 years and it really worked well for me. I'm not going to go into detail, Busi, sorry. And there you can see with the increase of 7.46, you will pay 151 rand extra with no subsidy, but members with a 60% subsidy only pay 60 rand 40. And then obviously you can calculate your dependence, 0% or rand value increase on children. Okay, and then quickly the Supreme fee-for-service traditional option, aimed at middle and higher income earners, fastest growing option as well for Umvuzo. Enjoy freedom of choice, much less restrictions in terms of being managed by your GP, being referred, getting authorizations, a lot of freedom, own choice providers, but you have to manage your funds. So that's the trick of it, and any private hospital in South Africa. Okay, and then 6.46% increase in terms of a rand value, 164 rand for the main member, 154 for a dependent, an adult, and then 54 rand per child. And depending on your subsidy, you can see what that would cost you extra. And on Extreme, there was also very similar to the Supreme, but this is our Rolls Royce. So it's got the gold inlays and all the bells and whistles. The Extreme option has had a 6.46% increase, once again paying 3,525. This is our most expensive option. That's what you're going to pay for a main member, and there you can see your dependent fees, 214 rand, 107 rand with a subsidy, and 85 rand 60. Okay. On all our options, I haven't included it. You will see it on the documentation that you'll receive, but once again, as part of who we are, the philosophy, the promise, we've never had interim increases. We've never not given increases on an annual basis where we haven't increased your benefits as well. So there's an average of about 4.5% increase on all options on all the different benefit structures. Then I have been really hammering Busi on the rand value, but there's a reason behind that. So I've had this slide on here prepared to give you a bit of a snapshot of our competitors in the industry. And their names are there at the bottom. But what we've done is we've had a look at the average contribution premium on those schemes as an average, which would be 2,230 Rand. With Umvuzo, the average premium is 1,588 Rand versus. So competitors is the average of those versus Umvuzo. So that's about 642 Rand in difference. If any of our members need to move to a competitor, this is what they would probably look at paying extra, which is a 40.4% increase if they should move to a competitor. But more than that, there's two sums that we've made. And this is based on the increases of these schemes going on to next year. So the average annualized increase in percentage and rand value, if you take those schemes, you take the average over the 12 months, what the average increase would be, it would work out as a 5.2%. However, in rand value, that is 115 Rand 96, where with Umvuzo at a 6.4% increase, the percentage might sound higher. But if you look at the rand value, and what is important to my member, that what affects his pocket, that's what makes the difference. The 101 Rand 63 is about 14 Rand 33 or 14.1% difference. That it ultimately then is more on the competitor than on Umvuzo. And if you have a look at the average increase on the base premium at the end of 2022, so some schemes gives an increase in May or another month in the middle of the year. So what we've done here is if you look at those ones, the competitors, this premium increase would work out to 6.1% as a base premium. So that's 136 Rand and 3 cents. With us, it stays the same. We haven't used that model, and we're not going that way for a very specific reason. It stays 101 Rand. So if you look at, so the base premium at the end of 2022, on which your next year's premium will be calculated, is then 34 Rand 67 more, and that difference is 34.2%. So that's specifically why I'm really reiterating, because it might sound higher, but in actual fact, the rand value that affects the pockets isn't. Okay, so and then just this is what everyone's been waiting for. Our average weighted contribution increase for 2022 is 6.43%.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
I had to make 100% sure that you were done there before I say anything.
Don't blame you.
That was a mouthful, but I get why you had to do it. And because at the end of the day, we don't bank percentages, hey? We bank rands and cents. So while I allow you to take a sip of water, I am going to talk about our competition time. So we have over 162 viewers online. That is absolutely amazing. And all in all, we've got over 250 people online and in studio watching the show. I would say that's not too bad for our very first show, is it? Now, so when it comes to the competition, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and the first 3 viewers who answer all 3 questions correctly in the fastest time will win. No questions asked, because we already know none of you are related to all of us, so that's okay. So the auditors already approved that if you are watching online, you are already eligible to enter the competition. So send your answers to the WhatsApp number that you've been seeing on the screen throughout the show. But after I ask these 3 questions, they will show the prizes once again with the WhatsApp number, and then you better move those fingers very quickly. And to make it very fair, the in-studio audience is not eligible to enter the competition. So it's all fair and square.
Sorry.
Only the online people actually enter this competition. Okay, so here we go. First question. For how many years has Umvuzo Health increased its benefits consecutively? For how many years has Umvuzo Health increased its benefits consecutively? Question 2, excluding the Gro models. Excluding the Gro models, how many guests did I have on the inaugural show, today's show, I mean? One more time, excluding the Gro models, how many guests did we have on today's show? And the last question. This will see if you really know your stuff. In which year did Umvuzo Health become the 14th biggest medical aid scheme in South Africa? Had to throw in a trick one day. Lastly, I'm repeating question 3. In which year did Umvuzo Health become the 14th biggest medical aid scheme in South Africa? So while you think about those, the answers to those questions very quickly, take a look again what you are standing a chance to win in terms of the show, in terms of the prizes that are up for grabs. Now we are back with Suzelle and Hugo, and we will be asking some questions from the viewers, both in studio and online. So I have been sent a few of the questions already that we've already received. So are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So in 2021, Umvuzo Health implemented significant benefit increases in certain benefit categories, such as over 40% increase in the supplementary benefit limits. Of course, I know this. It was in the movie, isn't it? So did you consider the same for 2022?
Busi, we didn't, because we already did it in 2021, we went through a rigorous process in determining those values for 2021. So we took that's our base that we increased the benefits for 2022. So it's built in, and from now on, that's what we will use as our base. If circumstances change and we need to have a look at it, we will definitely look at it. But for now, they are part of the benefit structure and we're going forward with that.
Okay, makes sense. Now, one would argue that Umvuzo Health's average increase is somewhat higher than other schemes or some other schemes. Why is that?
Well, again, like in Suzelle's presentation, percentages can be misleading. So because our base is much lower than our competitors, but still we need the same rand amount to make the sums work at the end of the day. A telephone call, rent, paper, all those stuff cost us the same that they cost the bigger schemes, yet we have a smaller rand amount to make those books balance. So that's why the rand amount may seem higher, but you saw the rand amount in Suzelle's presentation between 14 and 34% difference between us and our competitors. So I think it's better to look at the rand amount in Umvuzo's case.
Okay. That definitely makes sense.
Thank you, Hugo. I would have answered exactly that.
Thank you for that confirmation. We can tell you are a pastor's wife, eh? Confirm the word. Now, why does Umvuzo Health not also consider a delayed increase, where the premiums are only increased like later in the year, like we've seen as being the trend with some schemes?
Sure, Busi, that's now addressing the elephant in the room here. So our culture is not to introduce stuff to our members that's not necessarily to their benefit. Our view is that spreading that increase rather over a 12-month period instead of a 6 or a 5-month period is much more beneficial or better to our members. But if you just look at these other schemes, they use it to keep their base high, their already high contribution base, and keep it even higher. So they now increase it later in the year. So their reserve requirement come 1st of January is now also still on the old lower contributions. So for the first few months, Whereas us, our contribution increase will be from 1st of January. So already from the 1st of January, your solvency requirement is already increased by that increase, that 6.43 increase. Whereas those schemes, theirs will only kick in when their contributions start. So for us, I think that's only maybe it's a trick that they're trying to I don't know, maybe they've got a reserve problem, we don't know. But for us, it's not the way that we operate. It's not in our culture. We haven't operated that in the past. So for now, we will stick to contributions 1st of January and keep it as low as possible during the year.
And Umvuzo Health has never been known for emulating others. Hey, you set your own path and you walk in it.
100%.
Awesome. I don't know if there are any questions from the audience over and above what we have asked. Okay. No, then that means we are concluding our questions and answer sessions. Thank you so much. This has been very, very informative. And again, Hugo, you mentioned that I'm addressing the elephant in the room rather than be bombarded by questions out in the marketplace. And let's rather, answer it and face it square on and deal with what it is, because we know it was well thought through and there's a good reason why everything is happening. So thank you very much, Suzal and Hugo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I've closed the competition now. We actually do have our winners. Well, even if it's one winner, we'll go with that. But the competition is closing because we can't keep the show going all day long. So as much as I'd love to keep you there, glued to your seats and in front of your computers, you do need to go actually get working and earn your salary. So, again, while I'm waiting for the names to be handed over to me, I am going to show you one more time what you'll be missing out on if you didn't enter or if you didn't get the answers right. Okay, we are back with the competition winners. We're going to be honest up front. There is nobody who got 100% everything right, which means, and I'm highly disappointed. Because, we do know that the online audience are our intermediaries, and this information should be the tip, touch of the fingerprint. Whatever I'm saying. So it should be easily accessible to them. So, but we've been kind, and this being the very first show, we are going to award those with the closest answers. So, in first place, the first winner will be Ntombi Mbokazi. Please give a round of applause for Ntombi. And I hope she's doing a happy dance wherever she is alone in her office. And then in second place, we've got Kosi Masilela. And then the final place, we've got Thabo Mahlangu. So, my producer will get in touch with you after the show to get your details for the delivery of the prizes. Well done, and thank you so much for your participation in today's show. So now we have sadly come to the end of the show. I hear that. Thank you to all our online viewers for tuning in and staying tuned, because it's one thing to start the show with 150 and end with 60. So thank you for staying the show with us. And to the in-studio audience and in the overflow area, you've been phenomenal. Thank you. So please give yourselves a round of applause. Now, remember to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Yes, we have a YouTube channel, and it's already got fabulous content in there, so you can go straight away. You'll be able to watch this episode a little later on and all future episodes. So once you subscribe, you will be alerted whenever there's new episodes that have been released on a monthly basis, as well as some other awesome content that we do have. So thank you to all my wonderful guests, Suzal, Hugo, Mr. Frikkie Nqume, Mamiki, and Riëtte. It was really awesome to have you here. It was an honor for me to have these conversations with you. And finally, thank you to all our partners and every single person who's made this show possible and a great success. You all rock. And now have yourselves a wonderful day further. And from me, your host, Busi Roberts, it's been a pleasure. Take care.